6 wide receivers have been taken in the first round of the NFL draft just once in the past 10 years. But that will most likely change on Thursday night, as perhaps the best wide receiver class in NFL history takes the stage. Yeah. Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. The 2014 NFL Draft wide receiver class was one for the ages. It consisted of guys like Sammy Watkins, Mike Evans, Odell Beckham Jr., Brandon Cooks, and Kelvin Benjamin. This 2020 wide receiver class may be even better than that, as they're looking to become one of the best wide receiver classes in recent memory and potentially in NFL history. So today we take a look at the top 5 wide receiver prospects going into Thursday night's NFL draft, and we begin with our number 1 overall prospect in Jeudy out of Alabama. And this may surprise a few people here. It may surprise you because if you look at other analysts out there, if you've been following a bunch of different mock drafts, most people have CeeDee Lamb as the number 1 wide receiver. And I will say that these two, between Jeudy and Lamb, are almost interchangeable and are without a doubt the top 2 wide receivers in this class. It's Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, and then there's a little bit of a gap between those two before you start hitting the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and all the way down to the bottom of the wide receiver list. Jeudy and Lamb are a completely different breed and are going to be some elite wide receivers right out of the gate. But we start with Jeudy, and I'll explain why we've got him at number 1 instead of CeeDee Lamb. The first reason simply is because I would be absolutely terrified to line up against Jeudy. Absolutely terrified. The guy's got great size, he's got great hands, and he is the best route runner in this NFL draft. And that, to me, goes a long way. You can have speed. Wide receivers, period, they all have different traits. Maybe they're good, catching contested balls. Maybe you've got a little more athleticism. Maybe you're good at running routes. Maybe you're better at speed. But Jeudy, to me, is the most complete wide receiver in this NFL draft, and I would much rather have a guy that can run his routes better than a guy that maybe has a little bit more speed, or maybe is just a little bit more, getting a tiny bit more separation. I want a guy that can run my plays right and catch them when we throw the ball to him. And Jeudy is that guy. He's got a little bit of speed, running a 4.45 40-yard dash. He's 6'1", and his stats at Alabama were unbelievable. And this is not a guy where you can criticize his opponents. Some people like to look at Pac-12 guys or Big 12 guys and say, well, they don't play defense there, so those stats don't mean anything. Jeudy played in the SEC, and he played in the SEC West against some of the most dominant teams in the country year in and year out. 26 career touchdowns puts him at number 2 in Alabama history. And we talked about how well he runs his routes. His ability to run his routes so well gives him the ability to gain separation from his cornerbacks. Go watch some of the film from Jeudy and just watch how smart he is out there on the field. His ability to gain just the slightest bit of separation is really the difference maker. Because if you get the ball over to him, he's not going to drop it. He's also a guy that, to me, will fare well a little bit more, better against press coverage than CeeDee Lamb. And we know that in the NFL, those defenses like to play a lot more press coverage than they do in college football. And that's why I've got Jeudy just slightly above CeeDee Lamb here, is because he's the best route runner in this draft, but also because I think he's going to fare just a little bit better against these NFL defenses that he'll face in his rookie season. So Jeudy and Lamb are going to be the top 2 off the board, wide receiver-wise, but I like the Alabama native getting the edge there, the Alabama alum, I should say. Right below him, we've got CeeDee Lamb. We said that maybe he's not going to be that great against press coverage, but he's still going to be just fine. Because Lamb was one of the best wide receivers in all of college football this past season. He averaged 21.4 yards per reception. That's ridiculous, guys. That's absolutely ridiculous. You're picking up basically 2 first downs on a single catch. He ran a 4.5 40, so he doesn't necessarily have that breakaway speed, but what he does have is 2 things. He's reliable as he had 0 drops at Oklahoma on passes of 20 yards or more. And he's also insanely elusive. Insanely elusive. One of the best traits of CeeDee Lamb here is his ability to make something out of nothing. Go back and watch some of his highlights in film from the games against Texas and Kansas State this past season. So many times that CeeDee Lamb would catch a pass in space and he should have been taken down. And he didn't. He eluded the defenders. He eluded the guys in the secondary. He's a guy that's physical. He's a guy that's tough. And he's a guy that every time the ball's in his hands, his goal is to score. It's not just to pick up a first down. It's not just to get out of bounds. It's when I have the ball, I'm going to go score. And you saw that time and time again during his time at Oklahoma. He's a guy that many are comparing to a DeAndre Hopkins or Devontae Adams type, which are two of the best wide receivers in the NFL right now. Pretty good company to be in. I love CeeDee Lamb. I love his ability across the board. I love that he's super reliable. The press coverage thing is the only thing that kind of scares me a little bit, especially since he doesn't have that quick explosiveness right off the line compared to our next guy we're about to talk about. But Lamb, by far going to be a first-round draft pick, should be a top 15 draft pick. A team's going to get very lucky to pick him up. Right below CeeDee Lamb, we have a guy that's the fastest wide receiver in this NFL draft, Henry Ruggs III. Ran a 4.27 40. It's ridiculous. That's insanely fast. 4.27 40-yard dash. And that's something that NFL teams are going to be looking for because a lot of people are kind of comparing him to Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, a guy who's extremely fast, dangerous in the return game as well. But one of the things that makes him so great is his ability to get behind the defenders based on pure speed alone. And then you got a great quarterback like Patrick Mahomes that can chunk it 50 yards, 60 yards through the air. You're going to score just about every time. And Ruggs can be that guy. When you look at his Alabama film and you look at his Alabama stats, he only put up 746 yards and 7 touchdowns in 2019. Not bad stats at all, but they could have been much better had he not been sharing the field with guys like Jeudy, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, guys like that. Alabama had such an elite offense and such an elite wide receiver core that Ruggs maybe didn't get as many touches as he would have liked. But when he did get the ball, he made the most of it. He had at least one reception of 25 yards or more in 9 of the 12 games that he played in this past season. And he's a guy that could take a little bubble screen and take it 75 yards to the house. He's a guy that could take a slant across the middle and take it all the way to the house. And as we mentioned again at the beginning, he's a guy that's so fast off the line that you take one good move. Henry Ruggs makes one good move and you're done. If you're a cornerback, you are done. He is behind the defense and it's a touchdown every single time. Speed absolutely kills in the NFL, and Ruggs is going to kill tons of defenses and tons of cornerbacks in his NFL career. So a very, very good wide receiver in this one. As we said at the beginning, every wide receiver has a different trait. Every wide receiver has a different quality that makes them special in this NFL draft. Ruggs is speed. And once again, this in today's NFL, that's a very, very big key. Right below Henry Ruggs III, we've got Justin Jefferson. And you can see 3 of the 5 guys we've got up here are from the SEC and from the SEC West. Justin Jefferson, guys, is someone that, some have as high as, maybe 3rd, maybe even 2nd on their list of wide receivers, or some have them, him down 2nd round, 3rd round draft pick. He's kind of all over the place. And the guys that have him that low, to me, should not be employed and should not be making mock drafts anymore because it's absolutely ridiculous. This is a guy that I see being very similar to Julio Jones. That's the type of comparison that I'm drawing here when I watch Justin Jefferson. And we're going to talk about his college stats first. He's tied, or was tied, for the Division I lead in receptions. He was number 2 in Division I in touchdown catches, as he had over 1,500 receiving yards and caught 18 of Joe Burrow's 65 touchdowns in LSU's national championship season last year. The crazy thing is, Justin Jefferson, with all of those stats, did not even win the Biletnikoff Award as the best wide receiver in the country. That award went to his teammate in Jamar Chase. That's what's unbelievable to me. What's even more unbelievable is we just listed all of those stats here, and we're still not done, and he's 4th on our list. If anything, that should tell you how deep and how talented this year's wide receiver class is going into the NFL draft. That a guy that can put up those type of numbers, that a guy that is 6'3" and caught 92.3% of his contested targets is 4th on our list of wide receivers going into the draft on Thursday night. Once again, should show you how crazy good this wide receiver class is. But that 92.3% against contested targets was one that really stood out to me. That was one that really showed me that Jefferson's not afraid to go up for the ball. He's not afraid to fight for every jump ball. He's a reliable, sure-handed receiver. I really do feel like he's very similar to Julio Jones. I look at Julio Jones and his height. I look at his ability to kind of wrestle balls away from cornerbacks, wrestle balls away from the defender, hustling on every single play. I see a lot of those traits and qualities in Justin Jefferson as well. These could be the first 3 wide receivers off the board. Maybe down to number 15 in the first round. Someone's going to get lucky if Justin Jefferson drops that far. So I love this guy. I love this guy out of LSU. And just wait till next year when his teammate Jamar Chase comes into the draft. They're going to get even luckier. And then finally, rounding out our top 5 of wide receivers, it was tough. It was tough to decide who was going to finish this one here. We've got T. Higgins from Clemson. We almost put Denzel Mims there from Baylor, and we almost put Brandon Ayuk from Arizona State. Each of those 3 having very different qualities, ones that make them elite and make them potentially first-round draft picks on Thursday night. But there were a couple things that really, to me, separated T. Higgins from Mims and Ayuk and some of the rest. But one of them, to me, was that Higgins is a great run blocker. As a wide receiver in the NFL, yeah, your sole purpose is to get open, run your routes well, catch the passes, and score. And yeah, that's what the wide receiver is supposed to do. But a wide receiver's got to do it all. If we don't call a pass play, you're not just going to line up and stand there when the running back gets the ball. You've got to be able to block. And Higgins does that. Higgins is a guy that is not afraid to put his body on the line every single play. He's 6'4", 215 pounds to me, the ideal size and ideal weight heading into the NFL. He averaged 19.3 yards per reception last year. And outside of run blocking, the other thing to me that makes him a little bit separate from Mims, who has fantastic speed and is great one-on-one, and Ayuk, who really took a major step forward in 2019, is similar to Justin Jefferson and Henry Ruggs. He's a great deep threat. T. Higgins is a great guy that does lack explosiveness, but is good enough to make one good move and get behind the defenders to get the ball deep. Go watch his film. Trevor Lawrence, that was his favorite go-to target on the deep ball, was T. Higgins. So while he's not that explosive off the line, while he doesn't have that breakaway speed, maybe like Henry Ruggs here, he does have that deep threat, and he is a guy that whatever you ask of him, he is going to do, and that's why I like T. Higgins here at number 5 on our list. Many are drawing comparisons to him with A.J. Green. That's who a lot of people think his NFL counterpart would be, and I think, once again, that's great company to be in and a very accurate comparison as well. So, guys, here you have it. We've got our top 5 wide receivers going into Thursday night's NFL draft as we're clinging to our whiteboard here. But once again, these to us are the top 5. As we mentioned in 2014, there were 5 major wide receivers that got drafted just in the first round. These are not even the slightest bit of the elite wide receivers that will be drafted in 2020. We've got these 5, the best of the best, but then you've guys got like KJ Hamler from Penn State, Jalen Reagor from TCU, Brandon Ayuk, Denzel Mims, Laviska Shenault from Colorado. All guys that might slip into the first round or will certainly be second and third round picks as well. The draft class this year in the wide receiver position is much deeper than what we have up here on the board, and that's why many, including myself, view this as one of the best in recent memory and very well could be the best in NFL history. So guys, thank you so much for watching us here on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, and subscribe. We've got plenty more NFL content coming your way, NFL draft content coverage, I should say. So do not miss out on that. Check out everything down in the description below for more coverage, both college football and NFL draft-wise, to get you through some more of this quarantine. And once again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time right here at the Gridiron Expert.